Morytania. It's the best Slayer region and one of the strongest PvM regions in the game, but only if you unlock it at the right time. Pick it too early, you're completely stuck. Pick it at the right time, and it fast tracks you straight to endgame and Dragon rank. So, what actually makes Morytania this strong in League 6? It all comes down to the content packed into this region and just how hard that content scales with your account. Starting with early to mid game, this is where Morytania can feel a bit underwhelming. You've got some useful unlocks, quests, achievement diaries, barrows, Slayer progression with the Slayer Tower, a couple additional herb patches in Morytania and Harmony Island, the Ectofuntus, and mini games like Temple Trekking and Shades of Morton. But there's not a huge amount of immediate power here. It's more setup than payoff at this stage. This completely flips in the late game though. Once you've got the stats and gear, Morytania becomes stacked. Darkmire and all of its content, including the Hallowed Sepulchre and Vyres, Fasani's Nightmare, high-leveled Slayer bosses like Grotesque Guardians and Araxor, and of course, the Theatre of Blood. This is where the region really comes alive, and why timing your unlock is so important in League 6. Looking at unique gear upgrades, and it follows that same pattern. In the mid-game, Morytania gives you some really solid options, but nothing game-breaking. Barriers gives you strong, reliable setups across all styles, tank gear for melee, Arams for mage, Carols for ranged. You've also got a few nice Slayer upgrades, the Black Mask, Salve Amulet, even the Abyssal Whip. Combined with a couple of niche pickups like Bloodbark, Granite Gloves, and Guardian Boots, it's all good gear, but it's more about consistency than power spikes. But once you hit the late game, this is where Morytania goes crazy. You unlock some of the strongest gear in the entire game. Inquisitor, Justicia, the Avernic Defender, Amulet of Rancor. Top tier weapons like the Sanguinesti Staff, Nightmare Staff, Noxious Halberd, and the Grazi Rapier. And on top of that, you've got access to raid mega rares, the Scythe, the Shadow, the Twisted Bow. This is when Morytania stops being decent and becomes one of the most powerful regions in the game. Moving on to the task list, and again, it follows that same trend. Early on, you've got some pretty straightforward points. Things like temple trekking, equipping full barrow sets, Slayer tasks, and your usual quests and diaries. Nothing too difficult, but also nothing that's going to carry your points early and unlock those broken higher tier relics. But once you get into the late game, this is where Morytania really separates itself. You're looking at some of the hardest and most rewarding tasks in the entire league. 100 Theatre of Blood completions, completing all combat achievements and equipping all uniques, 150 KC of the Nightmare and equipping full Inquisitor, Hallowed Sepulchre speedruns, Araxor 300 KC, achieving all combat achievements and obtaining its uniques, and of course, equipping those endgame raid mega rares. This is where the points really start stacking up, but only if your account is ready for it. To put this into perspective, Morytania had the least number of easy tasks in Leagues 5, and I expect that it will share this title again in League 6. So, what are my final thoughts on Morytania? Well, it's one of the most intriguing regions in League 6, and definitely worth considering, depending on how you want your run to play out. The early and mid game can feel a little slow, but once you hit the late game, this region really comes alive. You're getting some of the best Slayer upgrades in the game, access to top tier PvM, and for mellow builds, arguably the strongest raid region available. If you're a high skilled player, hard mode Theatre of Blood is one of the best ways to chase mega rares, which makes Morytania incredibly valuable later on. It also pairs really well with regions like Asgarnia for best in slot melee upgrades, and it's historically one of the highest point generating regions in leagues. The most important thing to understand is timing. This is not a first pick. Morytania really shines as a second or third region when your account is actually ready to take advantage of everything it offers. So overall, if you're aiming for high level PVM and a strong late game push, Morytania is an easy A+ tier region and an easy pick. That's another region down, and Leagues is fast approaching. If you're still planning your regions, check out my Valamore, Asgarnia, and Wilderness guides, with more coming before April 15th. If you liked the video, stick around and subscribe.